Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of We Create ADU channel review. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing Matt from Conjecture's channel. But before we get started with that, I just want to talk a few quick admin things in the Slack. We now have a calendar. It's a Google Calendar that anyone can go to and look at. And we'll have the Hangouts on there. We'll also have bigger things like South by Southwest, VidCon, or if there's any deadlines like with Tom Scott, or submitting to South by Southwest or VidCon or any of those things, the deadlines for all those things will be in that calendar. So you can go on there. And this is probably our last channel review for a while, unless anyone wants to request another channel review. We've gone through our list. So unless people volunteer for that, our new program that we're going forward with is going to be going through the phases of what you do as a YouTuber. So we'll start with like organization. We'll go over renown on here to talk about research, and then we'll go through scripts and then all the post-production stuff. So that's all the admin stuff out of the way. And now we get to jump into the better part of the Hangout with Matt. Do you want to introduce yourself and your channel and tell us some of your biggest issues that you're going through?
Yeah, sure. So, like you said, my name is Matt from the YouTube channel Conjecture. So, it's really just a channel where I share whatever I find that's interesting to me. Majority of the time, they're centered around psychology, math, or language. That's what, yeah, I'd say most of my videos are on. But it's really just whatever I find interesting in the moment. So, yeah, that's essentially that. I've had the channel for more than 4 years now. And in terms of issues or stuff that I would like reviewed in this channel review, so right now the place I'm at, I'm just doing YouTube for fun, right? It'd be great if something became of it, like if I were able to do it full time or even part time. But even if that doesn't happen, that's fine with me. I'm just doing it to sort of practice, or not practice, but continue having fun being an explainer, being a teacher type person. But that being said, it would still be cool if my audience expanded just because I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. So why not help more people see that? So that's probably the thing that I'd be most interested in hearing your, Jackie, Kristen, and the chat's perspectives on, just ways I can keep growing.
Okay. So so I guess I can run through a few things that I just want to hear kind of what your responses are and kind of walk you through a thought process, and maybe that will help us put together what would be a growth strategy for Conjecture.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the first thing is, and I think this would be a fun question to ask of any YouTuber, and if you're a YouTuber listening, probably a really good question to ask yourself. So if you were, say, you had 10 seconds, or no, I'll give you a minute. If you had a minute with Hank Green and Michael Stevens, and they asked you what Conjecture's about, what would that be? What would you say to them to make the biggest impact in a very short amount of time?
Go out. Oh no.
It's like, why does water pour why does water gulp when you pour? Or how can you draw an entire shape without picking up your pencil? Or the fact that the Nobel Prize was named after the guy who invented dynamite. I guess if I were trying to spark their interest or something, I'd throw in random facts like that. But I describe it in a similar way I just did to you, too. That it's just me explaining the things in the world that I find interesting.
Okay. And so you talked a little bit about you have a lot of open-ended ideas of where you want things to go. So if you were to optimally, all things that you want to happen, if you were to look at the Conjecture channel in the year 2022, 5 years from now, what would it look like?
Is this if everything goes as I hope it, or is this, what do you mean?
Yeah, like if all your YouTube dreams come true, where would you see the channel going?
Oh, I don't, I guess if everything worked out in a way that were like really awesome, I'd have like, I don't know, maybe anywhere between 200,000 and 1 million subscribers. Just, and then being able to, like, the numbers aren't that specific to me, but like a big audience, um, and uploading videos weekly and making money off it. Not, it wouldn't necessarily have to be enough to replace a full-time job or have it instead of a full-time job, but still making like okay-ish money, and then being invited to something like VidCon or South by Southwest or just things in general to offer my perspectives as someone who's an influential creator in the spectrum or void or whatever of people on YouTube. If everything went my way, and I could sort of pick something to happen, I guess I'd pick that.
Awesome. Jacqueline, by the way, you can come in anytime you. I have like a big thing of things, and I just don't want to like take over.
Now they get to hear my voice enough every single month. It's good to have new voices on here. It's
All
totally
on you,
fine.
Tristan.
All right, Matt. Like I'm basically like trying to see if we can like get you to think through these kinds of questions to put yourself into a position where you can see like what is the strategy, because like I think that a lot of YouTubers come from a position where they want to make videos, which is good, but they then see their channel as like, I'm just going to put videos out into the void until something happens and things happen. And like having strategies, thresholds, things that you want to accomplish. Like you basically said that you want to be a thought leader. And if you were, and with the subscriber numbers you were talking about, you'd basically be in a full-time YouTuber sense. And with weekly videos as well, they'd be pretty much, that'd pretty much be your full-time job.
Yeah.
So, but that's okay. Like that's not like, I think that a lot of us are given this false pretense that this is some way like something conceited or something that is like dependent on. I mean, it is very dependent on luck, but it is so. It's like poker. You make calculated risks.
Yeah. So actually, and you may have been getting to this at some point, but so even though I've said that I'm at this point mostly just doing this for me, I've also tried to, in the past month or 2 months or whatever it was, like make my videos more consistent and I don't know, more like perhaps a discoverable or something like that. Like I've been trying to sort of go with a more consistent feel to my videos. I've edited my editing style a bit. To just like add in some little effects here or there and make them more consistent across the past month and a half or 2 months of videos. And I've actually liked the direction all those have taken, and I'm probably going to keep doing that. So, because I was sort of thinking about this myself after VidCon too. I was thinking, okay, well, what can I do to make myself stand out? Or even if it's not standing out, just what can I do to sort of refine my own craft and make it more enjoyable for people to watch? And so I don't know how far back, how many videos of mine you watched, but you may, depending on how many you watched, you may have noticed that the, videos I've uploaded in the past month or two or whatever, I think are noticeably different from the videos maybe, before VidCon or whatever. And I mean different in a good way. Like I think they're better.
Yeah, I definitely agree that I think you started taking time off school to do more YouTube, and I think that there has been market increase in the kind of stuff that you've been doing. I think that those are all positive changes. Could you actually? You said you've been focusing on trying to make your content more discoverable. Can you walk through what that means to you? Like what you mean by?
Yeah. So let me actually tell you sort of something that a way that I conceptualized working with YouTube and the algorithm and uploads and viewers and whatever, right? So over the summer when I wasn't uploading, I was working, but there was a decent amount of downtime in the mornings of my work. And so sometimes what I would do for like a solid week, I would just pour over my analytics. And actually I have it sort of written on a sheet here, but there were a bunch of different things I found, which I kind of have like written on this sheet. I essentially looked at which videos had the highest amount of watch time in like the past 28 days, 90 last year, and lifetime for subscribers and non-subscribers. Yeah, and so the three main takeaways I had from that analysis were basically that so subscribers would watch the longer videos, right? They'd be much more likely to like spend more time watching them and much more likely to watch them in general. The shorter, perhaps more attention-grabby videos, with some exceptions, but those videos were the ones that non-subscribers were most likely to spend more time watching, and those were the ones that converted more people more frequently into subscribers. Yeah, people who weren't subscribed like those shorter, maybe, and by attention-grabby, I mean not clickbait, but instead of a title like, geez, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. Instead of a title like maybe like designing I don't know, just like a title that's more clickable, right? Like something that if you were looking on it in the related videos, you might look at it yourself and go, ooh, that sounds cool. Let's click on that. So basically, subscribers liked and watched the longer videos, whereas non-subscribers liked and watched the shorter ones, and the shorter videos were more effective at turning people into subscribers. So I sort of took that information and thought, all right, well, maybe I should alternate between making shorter videos for non-subscribers and for conversion, and then longer videos for the subscribers and for their enjoyment. And since I've actually started this month, I've actually mostly made shorter videos. I haven't made too many longer videos yet, even though I have plans to, because I consider those 5-minute videos short. But yeah, so that was sort of my plan. Basically make like short and long videos, shorter for non-subscribers and longer for subscribers. And I haven't been sticking to it exactly in that, like I said, I don't think I've made a lot of long videos, but that was sort of my thought process after coming away from those analytics this summer.
Okay. So a question about the thought process that goes between, so I imagine that like most YouTubers, you have a giant pile of potential video ideas sitting in a Google Doc somewhere.
Yeah.
So what makes you decide which ones are going to be the short videos and which ones are going to be the long videos?
So I'm actually going to pull up my thing right now. So honestly, I kind of just, so I'm looking at my notes app right now, which is where I keep my video ideas. And I don't know, sometimes I can tell like, oh, this is an interesting idea, but there's not a lot I have or want to say about this. So this will probably be anywhere between like 3 and 6 minutes. And then other times I'll look at something and I'll go, okay, well, this is really interesting to me, but it's also pretty dense. So this is probably gonna be a longer one. And then sometimes I can't really tell how long it's gonna wind up being. So I just start writing it. And then I sort of make that judgment when I get to the end. Like there was this one video I'm talking about sort of and this is a video in the works, but I'm looking at a sort of mathematical analysis of how this one RNG system in a video game works, because then I'm talking about that RNG system and the law of large numbers and the central limit theorem. And I thought that was going to be a short video, and it wound up being really long. So hopefully I'll film that sometime, like 2 weeks or whatever. But that's an example of a video that I thought was going to be short, and I just kept typing it, and it wound up being long.
And then at the end of a lot of yours, if you have extra material, you seem to send people over to your other channel anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And that's because, like, for a lot of those videos too, I find some other stuff that I think is interesting, but either doesn't fit like neatly into the narrative of what else is happening in the video, or it just like I didn't feel like putting in the same work to edit it that I did for my stuff. And so yeah, I still like that I've created that content and put it out there for people to see, but yeah, I have no problem putting that on my other channel, because like by the time I finish editing a video, I mean, I'm sure we all do. We pour like our like blood and sweat into those videos, and editing is editing's one of my least favorite parts of the process, but I'm going on a tangent. Essentially, yeah, I have that other information on everything else, my second channel, for people who want to see it.
Okay, so I might. Can I don't want to. Can I make a suggestion about maybe a way to rethink about how you choose these different things?
This is a channel review, of course. Yeah, I would love a suggestion.
All right. So I think that there's something here, and this comes up. This came up in my channel review, but I think that a lot of YouTubers, especially people who are in the educational community, can really benefit from. And that is, I think that when you're talking about your you're talking a little bit about your help versus your hub content, but I don't really like to use the jargon. So I think what you might be thinking of when it comes to discoverability and everything like that, like these more converting videos, length from metadata shows that that's actually not that commonly the factor that leads to whether a video is going to be discoverable about or not. It used to be, but it isn't much anymore. And actually, the sweet spot that people are talking about these days is 14 to 16 minutes are like the best performing videos. And what you really should be thinking when you're choosing between stuff for just for your audience and stuff that's for converting subscribers is more something in the content. It's more the subject matter. When you're making something that's for other people to discover your channel, you have to think about how they're going to find you. And
well, can I actually hop in and clarify something? So I agree with what you're saying, and this is on me from explaining this not super well before. So even though, well, so I was saying shorter videos, but I also think that a lot of the shorter videos were also very interesting and just something that someone could easily hop into and not have to unpack a lot, which is why I think they performed better. Like, it's not, I think the content of the shorter ones is just as interesting as the longer ones, maybe even less, frankly. But from my experience on my channel, just looking at my analytics, those videos have performed better. And my hypothesis, which could be totally wrong, is just that like it's easier to force yourself to watch, or not force yourself, but it's easier to like watch a 5-minute video than a 14-minute one. And I could be wrong with that, but that's just sort of the assumption I made or impression I got.
And to some things that is the case, especially when it's something that's obscure. So I'm wondering, though, one thing that might be of interest is thinking more with the searchability of the subjects that you decide to greenlight for your future videos. Now, I know that your channel is very much you pursuing your own interests, which is, that's a cool brand to go with. The Jack FM of YouTube channels, just good. But even if you're doing a subject, like, for example, I know that you're a really big fan of Vsauce, right?
Yeah.
They'll take, the Vsauce channel will do a very good job at taking the seed of a question that someone's going to randomly search for on YouTube, and then they'll take them on a ride through all of these cool, interesting stories, like the kind of thing that you really like to talk about in your content. And I think that you could, don't steal the Vsauce format, but I think if you took at your video ideas, because I think you have a very good knack for finding really cool, but like if you could weave a few of them under like the umbrella of something that that people are searching for, that would be a really good way to craft a narrative. And also a lot of those tidbits that you said that get put over into the everything else channel.
Yeah.
And you could fit it in as part of a larger narrative, and then you don't have to give up like the kind of quirky, things you didn't even know that you desperately needed to know type nature, but could make your videos feel more discoverable because people come to answer one question and come away with 17 answers. And I think that will not only attract more search traffic, which is really like until you're into like 6 digits of subscribers is what you really should be trying to maximize. But also it's very much like for building that kind of, I think, like the emotional experience of watching a conjecture video. I mean, this is what I'm imagining from watching stuff, which is that the like, holy crap, like I didn't even know this thing existed 5 minutes ago, and now I know all sorts of stuff. And I think that that's a good feeling that you want to convey in every conjecture video. But you need something. You need something. You need the worm on the hook to get them to find it in the first place.
Yeah. I also like that, especially in the last few that you did, that you had, you kind of took us on your learning journey a little bit, because you're like, okay, I learned this thing and I really understand it, but it still didn't make sense, guys. Do you guys understand that? Come on, it doesn't make sense. And then you're like, this is different ways we can think about this, and we'll actually understand it, instead of just having like this factoid that we can tell people. So I think that makes you a little different than just regular explainer videos too.
Yeah. Well, thanks. That's I think the experience of how I learned it is also important, and it's not like the experience of me learning it isn't really far removed from the actual content I talk about. So I think it makes sense to include, because if you ever have trouble understanding something, you could just say it in the video, and then you could also just, call yourself out and be like, but look, so this is how I understood this thing, and maybe it means this, maybe it means this. Ideally, you do that before the video, right? But, just to sort of cover your tracks, or just be candid with the audience and say, like, this is something I don't fully understand, or maybe, like, this helped me understand it. But yeah, that's something I like to do. And then really Tristan, so that's... Oh, what was that?
That's a really good thing. I think that the aha discoveries and the following Matt's story as he is discovering the subject of the very video you're learning, those are like the two things that make conjecture stick out from other channels, and I think that you should double down on those.
Oh,
but continue your thought process. I want to hear what you're saying.
That's interesting. I hadn't actually thought about that too much. But so the other thing is that so what you were saying, Tristan, about sort of like using a seed and then going to explore a bunch of different things. So that would be really interesting if I try. Well, I think I have done that with some other videos, and I think they've actually been some of the better performing ones. So maybe I should really consider this. But yeah, that's interesting, because now that I think about it, so like my video on color was kind of using a seed, and then my video on the law of small numbers. But see, that's not even, I don't even understand how that video became one of the more popular ones, because like that's not searchable. It's not even clear from the thumbnail or the title like what the heck that video is even about.
When you go into the analytics, does it say that most people found it through suggested videos, searchable, that kind of stuff? Do you know?
Let me actually tell you right now.
Yeah, I'd be really curious to find out which videos are the best performing through search.
Okay, let me actually tell you.
Because I think that like that is like when you're thinking of like a subject for a video, you find the thing that is like a question that people have thought of, and the thumbnail and the title that is going to get somebody who has never heard of Matt, who has never heard of conjecture, to click on it to get through or answer the question that they were trying to answer.
So traffic sources YouTube search. So my top 5 search terms, and this is, do you want like past 28 days, or what do you want specifically?
I'll just do lifetime.
Yeah.
All right.
Because even if it's a video that's old, it could be searching better now. Like our best search video is one of our first 10 videos.
Gotcha.
Yeah, one of my best search videos is literally the 4th video I've ever made.
Yeah.
Back from when I still had like white face and all sorts of
stuff. So that's odd. Well, what? What was that?
Go ahead.
Well, number 2 is unknown.
That's probably a video that you've since deleted for some reason.
Maybe. Is it this?
Or if the search term is unknown, then that means that it's something that was searched for with non-Latin characters.
I doubt that's my second highest thing. Well, okay.
Well, they'll take all the ones that were done through non-Latin characters and they just label them as unknown.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. Well, so, okay. The top 5 are Vsauce parody, 2 is unknown, 3 is CGP Grey, 4 is 72 versions, because I did a video on, like, do Islamic terrorists really get 72 versions? And then 5 is boys and girls. And that's definitely in reference to my why are boys associated with blue and girls associated with pink video. And then after that,
I'm not surprised by any of those.
Yeah. And then beneath that I have mirror box, stereotype threat, parkour history, and then it goes down for a bit, and then we get
because
to
think about how many people are searching for hardcore history, which is a very famous podcast. How many people are searching for? There's another one you said that.
Wait, did you say hardcore history?
Hardcore history. It is a popular podcast.
I actually said parkour history.
Oh, parkour history.
Yeah. I made a video about that like 2 years ago or something. But okay, so to basically get back to you with responses, though, I'm not leaving out the unknown one. It's Vsauce parody, CGP Grey, 72 versions, boys and girls. Or actually, you know, instead of leaving out number 2, I'll go down to the 6th one, which is 72 versions in Islam.
Yep. Because you think about it, those are all things that people will search for when they want to find an answer. And really, until you have, trust me, I'm struggling with this as well, because I have a ton of pet topics that I really want to make videos of. Cheryl just gave me an awesome video topic about this person who self-declared himself the Emperor of America. But I can't tell that story because my channel's still too small. It's in an early phase where really I need to just be exposing myself to as many people as possible. And I said that in the most double entendre way I possibly could.
I got you.
But you really need to like double down on the search stuff if that is the strategy you want to go down.
Well, so I also because why not? The most search terms for the last 28 days are Vsauce parody, stereotype threat, mirror box therapy, and color codes.
Yep. So I think though that Conjecture as a channel can still have its like cool weirdness, the stuff, a lot of the stuff with math and everything like that. I just think that one thing that would seriously improve what you're doing is finding the thing in the video that you can turn into something that can be discovered by somebody who's looking to answer a question, and then make sure that the accoutrement of the channel is based on that. So like the title, the thumbnail, and maybe like the cold open.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is about like, I didn't expect, and this is part of the hard thing too, right? So I actually want to give a little anecdote if I tell this or mention this, but I didn't expect the only video, let me say it this way, the only video of those top 5 most searched for on my channel that I actually expected would make it to the top 5 was the Vsauce parody. Like the mirror boxes, the 72 versions in Islam, the why is blue for boys and pink for girls. Like, those were really surprising to me how well they did. And there is actually a book called, like, Originals or something, which talks about, basically, it's really hard for, one of the things it posits is that it's really difficult for, like, the creator to anticipate how well, like, the things they create are. And so I guess, yeah, I just, like, of the top 5 things I've made, only one of them I expected would make it into the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the battle of YouTube is trying to figure out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the entire battle of YouTube. And for a lot of your things too, I don't think you have very long descriptions, and it's hard for SEO to kind of troll through your channel and figure out the videos sometimes, I think.
Well, don't really only the first couple lines of the description matter, or does it actually, like, does the meat of it matter as well?
It uses everything, but the first few lines are what a person sees when they, like, if they search your video and they only see the first 3 lines.
Yeah.
But the spiders, the like software that ranks everything, does look at pretty much any data point it can find. So it looks through your entire description, all your tags. If you subtitle your videos, which is another thing that you really should do for SEO purposes and for accessibility purposes primarily, they mine that for keywords as well. And then it also things like view velocity and watch time. This is why the sweet spot is there's like in economics, you know how you have like that like drop off curve where there's like this nice point where you get like the max amount of money because like people drop off the higher you raise the price and things like that. There's like a sweet spot that's in like 14 to 16 minutes, which is where the watch time gained through the fact that you have a longer video is better off than the stuff that like, you know, the potential views you might lose. And since the game is entirely about watch time now, that's like the sweet spot to hit, because also I wouldn't like get you to pad out your story, but you obviously end up with way more cool stuff than the video tends to have. So you can work it in a way that you can. But I think that because your channel is very much about like the story, like you're like, I set out to answer this question. Here's me going down that path to answer that question and finding all sorts of cool stuff along the way. And I think that that's a good way to do it. You just need to start with something that's discoverable and just go with it. I think that I feel very strongly about that.
Well, okay, so let me ask you two questions. So I'm just going to write down the things you said. So just go, and then
think about it from the random person's perspective. Like, what is your video? What will make them want to click on your video when they don't know who you are? They don't know what their video. They might not even be interested in educational content. How do you get them to click on that thing? And like, usually it's answering some question that they had pondered in the shower one day, but they had never thought to ever go and answer. And that's
so. Yeah, hang on. I'm trying to come back in the chat.
Yeah, the chat is giving lots of information about the length of their videos and trying to figure out if should be longer or shorter, and they're all playing around with it. And they said that people hate when bigger creators pad out their videos. I think that's most of what the chat has been saying. That no one knows the correct length, but we're all trying.
Yeah, don't pad out your videos. But if you can, from the stuff that I've read from like the articles by like MCNs that have like way more data points than we do, they found that the 14 to 16 minute range is like the sweet spot, especially when it comes to like what video is most likely to get clicks for like a search thing. So like, and it makes sense because it's not like a full length documentary, but it's also not like a 3-minute thing where you're.
Yeah, and so I don't really plan on padding them out, but so let me just ask you the things I was gonna, and then wait.
Yeah, it's your show.
Okay, so I have a couple of things to say based off what you said. So you said obviously like make seeds around things that are discoverable, right? Or make videos based around discoverable seeds, perhaps is a better way to put it, right? So the reason I mentioned that, well, I mean, you and I both said this already, like, how are we supposed to know what's actually going to be discoverable? Like, make videos around discoverable seeds seems like a guessing game, which is one that like we've all already been playing. Like, I enjoy making the videos I'm making, but at the same time, I'm trying to make them discoverable in a sense, and we don't know what's necessarily going to be popular.
Well, now we enter into the weird and strange world of keyword research.
Yeah.
You want to be like looking for a really strong TubeBuddy tag to start with, or going on to Google Keyword Planner and finding out what, like, maybe if like for example, like say you want to do another video on color and you literally just wrote color into the Google and sorted by volume, you would actually have a list of like, what are the most searched things that come up with color? Or if you are interested in certain subjects, like you said, your video kind of has a few things on. It's like math and psychology and a little bit of history. That's what I've like picked up for the most part. Mm-hmm. And if you kept abreast of what's going on, like maybe give yourself like a Google News alert for history, psychology, those kinds of things, and see when cool stuff pops up. Maybe you can get in on that before, you know, the thing takes off. But yeah, look for the Google Trends, keyword planning, those kinds of things. Like if you have a general subject, you can kind of narrow it down from there.
Yeah, the chat is saying Google Trends, YouTube autofill, like he said, TubeBuddy. You can also use vidIQ. They show you tag rankings, things that people are searching for, things like that. And the chat's also saying longer descriptions, more playlists,
Yeah, even
more things like that.
Yeah, I actually have the video, Jacqueline, pulled up. You don't have to like keep copying them. And, yeah.
Sorry.
No problem.
TubeBuddy is actually really great because it has a rating it gives every single tag based on basically its ratio of search volume to competition. And so finding those really nice tags that are searched for a lot but don't have a lot of competition are really good. And I think that if you kind of poke around in any given big, broad topic, look at the like recommended tags and things like that, you'll eventually come up on something that will be like, oh, here we go. Here's the seed. Let's do this.
Yeah. So, yeah, it could work out. It could be something like, oh, maybe I find a really interesting seed, and then no one's made a video.
My other advice is, I have this actually on my wall. I haven't done this obviously lately. I've been taking care of lifey things, but in the new year, life is made of funnels. I don't know if you've seen Jack Conte's video on that.
I have not, actually.
Yeah, you just kind of keep putting out stuff, and sometimes it goes great, and sometimes it sucks. Like, he spent thousands and thousands of dollars to make a music video, and it didn't do anything, and then they spent 10 minutes making a different one, and it like went really far.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know. So the world is made of funnels, and just keep making it, and the more you make, you're gonna get better, and something will hit.
So that's kind of been my philosophy too, because even though, so Tristan, I 100% agree that like basically everything you said makes a ton of sense, right? Like, it makes sense, and I'm sure it not only makes sense but has worked for tons and tons of people. But I don't know, a big part of me feels like basically just agreeing with what you just said, Jacqueline. And I don't know, I just feel like, since I truly feel that even if I did like as much research as I could, it would still be just like a slightly better odds than a crapshoot, I'd rather just make the things I'm interested in and not have to go through all that trouble to improve my odds by like what I perceive, perhaps erroneously, as just a slightly better chance of hitting it.
Well, one thing you can do is Tristan has like a ranking system, and he gives them points. So you could do that, and so you already have, these are the 100 things I want to make, but use something like his ranking system and be like, okay, this is in this crapshoot, this is the most likely odds. I mean, you do a lot of probability videos. You should know that there are some things that definitely have better odds.
Yeah.
Think of it less like playing craps than by like playing poker, which is that you do know that given any selected hand, you're never sure if what you're going to do is going to succeed. But as you get more experience and as you kind of can do more research, you can find out which hands are more likely to succeed. And so while you can never guarantee that any video is going to be successful, you can, through things like the idea funnel that I've used for a good while now, get a feel for what videos at least have a higher chance of succeeding. And it's always changing too. So it's always evolving. So you can always start with something basic and elaborate on it from there based on feedback. But if I know that I can see the struggle, because this is the struggle of every creative ever, which is between like following your creative instinct to just make stuff that you want to make, and making the stuff that lets you have rent and food and things like that everyone likes.
Yeah.
On the last hangout we had for Stepback's channel, we talked about you can make the niche things that you really like once you've put in the work and you're big enough, and then people will keep watching them. But if your goal is to grow, then sometimes we have to suck it up and make the things that maybe we don't want to make the most, but will help us grow and help other people see those other things.
Yeah, that was the real slap in the face that that Cody from Alternate History Hub gave me as advice.
Yeah, that's true. He does a good job of consistently putting out stuff. It's like very consistent, but he also does YouTube full time, so he kind of has to be.
I don't know if we want to pivot this far away, but I did have questions about your editing. since you hated it so much, I didn't know if there was a way we could help you like turn it around so it was a little bit quicker, a little less painful. I also hate editing.
Well,
it's Matt's problem, from what I remember at VidCon, is that it's not that he hates it. I think it's that he loves it too much.
Oh, no, I just hate it.
So no, I mean, honestly, you're both right. Like, especially Tristan, because I don't know, I hate it because it takes so much time, and the reason it takes so much time is because I love it. Like, so because okay, yesterday, for example, I was editing a video, and for like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 hours, I was just looking at music to put in. And then the thing is, after about the first half hour or whatever of like just hearing different tracks, I tried putting something in, and then I realized, oh no, this isn't the kind of piece that should have just one musical track, because that doesn't fit in with the narrative and the story I'm trying to tell. This piece deserves different music at different times to separate the ideas and like make it whatever. And so then I wound up searching for more stuff for like the next 2 hours or whatever to make more sense with what was happening in the video. And that's actually really more audio selection than editing. But
that's also a level of polish that, in the kind of disposable nature of YouTube videos, will really kind of hold you back more than help you succeed. Like, that's the kind of thing that you can afford to do when you have a team of people making your videos.
Oh, yeah, I 100% agree. But I 100% agree with what you just said. And I wish that I weren't always like that. And I'm trying to sort of do a better job of it. Because I mean,
is editing like your
bottleneck? Your
bottleneck?
Wait, I'm sorry, what was that?
Is editing your bottleneck? Like, is it the thing that probably slows down your video making process the most?
Actually, I don't think so. I think it's sometimes that I'll like finish the video or like, you know, I'll upload a video, and then this isn't so much the case more recently because I've had more time, but I'll finish the video and I'll think like, okay, well, now I have to like research again. And sometimes like the thing that's satisfying for me is just learning about the stuff, right? So even though I obviously learn about it better when I make a video, I could learn about something, and then I feel content without even writing a script and making it into a video, because I personally know about it now. And so sometimes that's actually usually the biggest bottleneck. It's like getting back into research, and then after I've done the research, like writing a script or making it into a narrative in a video.
Do you think by adding like more interaction or something with your community, I don't know, would that make it more enjoyable for you if you knew like, oh, these people are waiting and like they're so excited, or you know what I mean? Like something like that, so you know, like these are the people I'm teaching. Like I know this and I cannot wait to share it with like these people. I don't know. Would that help?
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
in that case, you should try doing some Hangouts.
What was that?
In that case, maybe you should consider doing some Hangouts. That's like the best way to
like on my channel,
talk to your audience one-on-one. Yeah, just do a Q&A or something, and then you realize who are your diehard fans and what kinds of things they want to know about, but also you kind of get to know them as people. And that's a really good way for you to feel more attached. But I think that you're hitting a lot of things that a lot of creatives and also a lot of academics hit, and that is there's the research problem, which is that every researcher, and I'm sure there's a lot of researchers in the chat, but also in this room, know that there's a point where like, yeah, I gotta stop reading, I gotta start writing. Because honestly, on any given subject, you could literally read for the rest of your life if you really wanted to. So you really gotta like think of like when I really gotta drop it and then start writing, and then unless it's like critical to the story, not really going back. And that's a thing that's a bit more of a thing you get a feel for, but maybe I think like what I usually do is I have a set of sources I look for, and then I have a set of keywords that I search for, and I grab a bunch of articles, and like once that spider web kind of ends, I go into writing mode. But having even in mind that like there is a point where my research really needs to end, and then it's just writing, and then kind of making yourself not go back.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if you do need to go back, or you find those tidbits that would go on like your everything else channel, that's the kind of thing that would make a really good stream that you could do, say, in the hour leading up to your video coming out, which would then have a whole bunch of people who are on your channel watching your content the second your video comes out, and it pushes them all watching your video as soon as it's ready, which is free velocity.
Wait, that's interesting. So are you saying do something like a live stream and then end it by releasing my video or something along those lines?
One of the things I've thought to do, and we haven't done this yet because I don't think there'll be a big turnout for us, but one of the things I would like to do starting next year is tell people that they got to click that bell, and if they click that bell, something special is going to happen. And the people that click the bell are the notification squad, and we have a live hangout just for the notification squad. So then they watch the video, and then they get to talk about it. Like, they're the diehard people.
Wait, are you saying that this is happening?
This is what I want to do.
They watch a video, or what are you saying exactly?
Yeah, so what I would like to do on our channel is say, if you click the bell, you're part of the notification squad that gets the email or the ding on your phone or whatever that says, you know, SciJoy video live. And the people that come watch that video, down in the comments, the top pinned comment will be a link to a hangout. So they can go right from the video to a hangout with us and talk about that video. And only the people that are on the notification squad get it. And then that video goes away. I mean, it doesn't work so well for us because we're a small channel, but I think it was just a thought, and you guys are the first people to know about it.
Well, so that's interesting.
I think that, like, turning it around would be like, this is something that that came up with the Daryl Eves idea that I think is really good, which is like all of the content that you do should be like pushing towards making more stuff happening on your stuff. And so what I'm suggesting is like doing the stream before the video comes out, ending it right when you push publish. And then, yeah, you have 10 people who are like at your page, on your web page right away. And as soon as your stream's done, they can go and watch your video. And as like YouTube is so obsessed with velocity now too, like the first 72 hours of views, you have a bunch of people who are already hot on your content right there, right when the video comes out. And you get more chance to interact with your audience, and they feel more invested in like making sure it's like liked and shared.
And so you think that's that doesn't like hurt the chances of people clicking on your video or going to your channel if you're live streaming before? Because I would just imagine people who are getting notifications about a live stream and then saying like, oh, he's just streaming, whatever. And then they ignore the activity for a little bit and they might even miss the video.
Well, if they're your notification squad, they're going to be watching your videos no matter what happens.
Well, that's true.
They're diehard fans. So really the only thing that will happen is that people who are just subscribed to you might look at their subscription feed, and for an hour before the video comes out, you're already in their subscription feed.
I almost wait. So when we were talking about this, Jacqueline, I was thinking sort of what you were saying, which is that I don't know. When you were talking about that, Tristan, I was almost considering the idea of doing a stream like immediately after the video came out, and then putting something like a still graphic on the video that says, hey, click this video to watch it, and then this will make sense. And then just sort of having a little discussion about other thoughts I had sort of in the style of that of the sort of companion everything else video.
That's more what I was talking about, but I can see like that was what I wanted to do, because the video would be out and then you get to discuss, and then you'll know like how well instantly the video did, because people will talk with you and you can go into the deeper dives and stuff. But I can see Tristan's point too of you're getting them prepped, like they already have a notification beforehand and they get a second one. So it could go either way. It's just probably more what you're more comfortable with. I would be more nervous like talking to people right before it was published. Like I'd be nerve-wracked. But once it's out, I'm usually like so over it that I would be okay with doing a hangout.
Well, so, and because I also want to talk about how I see both what you and Tristan said, and I think, are we all like of the agreement that, you know, once the video comes out, or maybe once the live stream ends, it would go like unlisted or something. Like it wouldn't really stay up as a video on the channel, right? Or would it?
Yeah, I've been going back and forth over whether to unlist my streams, but for that type of stream, yeah, it's a disposable live stream that's just for while you're getting people revved up. And because it goes unlisted, then you kind of get the thing that Jacqueline's talking about with what she wants, like the desired thing that she wants, which is to get that notification squad, the notification squad special feeling is that you've got this stream that's up only for like an hour, and then the video comes out and then it's gone. And so only people who were there, or after the stream is done, the only people who will be able to watch it afterwards are people who got a link through their notifications. So
yeah, so I guess I have a couple of things about this that are going through my mind. So if you do the live stream after the video, as great as that is for the notification squad, I feel like that could hinder discussion on the main video page, because I feel like people, at least initially, would be more inclined to talk about it on the live Hangout, and they should, right? That makes sense. But then, of course, if it's just an hour, like the majority of people aren't going to see the video or the live stream in the first hour it comes out, right? Just notification squad, kind of like what you were saying.
And you're also competing with yourself for retention and watch time. Like if somebody really wants to watch the stream, they might click halfway through the video, which gives you 50% retention and reduces the amount of watch time. So
yeah, but then the only other thing I think about Tristan is that if I do it before, like, what am I supposed to talk about? Am I just supposed to sort of give a preview of the video for like a half hour or an hour?
I've only ever tried it once, and I'm planning on doing it again this week and for every week in the future. Just the last 2 weeks I wasn't in Toronto when my videos went live. But honestly, I just sat down and I just started saying, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? And then the chat just provided questions, and I just kind of gave like answers and commentary and discuss things. Maybe you can talk about some things that come up in the video. Maybe people will ask what the video is about, and you can give a little bit of things. But like honestly, like they'll watch it, but like the hour is just saying, you have an hour with me. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna sit here in front of my computer and answer things that you want to know, or if I can, or give my opinion on whatever, and you've like got that hour to do it. And that's you giving your time to your viewers, your hardcore viewers. And then at the very end, you're like, all right, my video's live, guys, go click it. Like,
yeah. Well, so I'm imagining in my mind, and I didn't see the video you made, but I'm imagining in my mind something like I would do a half hour, not an hour, personally. But who knows? I'd maybe try it a couple times, maybe like an hour. But I would do something like put a graphic on top that says like new video in, and it's a countdown clock, right?
That's actually a cool idea. Have like I would do my webcam and then in like the corner have the countdown time.
Oh yeah, no, definitely do a countdown clock. I guess you could always say like new video at 2 or whatever, but a countdown clock is more suspenseful, right?
Yeah, I figured out how to do that in like OBS or something.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be really easy to do in OBS. You could just Google like stopwatch, right? Because I also use OBS too. It's really great. But what's funny? So obviously this would have to change if I do this, because I actually do like this before video live stream idea. But most of the time when I like upload videos, I do it immediately after I finish editing, because I just want to get things out there as soon as possible. So if that were the case, I'd have to like finish editing, put it on YouTube unlisted, take like a hour break for myself to just relax, and then go back and do it.
Well, that's another thing.
Or I could just make it a day in advance and push it back a day or something,
Yeah, and that's another thing that we can talk about too, because you said in the Google form that you submitted that one of your hurdles was regularity, and part of being regular is eating lots of fiber, but also keeping your videos, not releasing your videos as soon as they're done. I know exactly the feeling you had, because I used to do that myself.
Yeah.
But if you can get onto a good rotation, you actually integrate your work into the weekly rhythm of someone's life, or the biweekly or the monthly rhythm.
Yeah. Well, so
having that time that your stuff's going to come out, that will get people. People can actually plan their day around that if they want to.
So I feel like if this were going to become more of a thing, I feel like it'd have to be at a more available time. because I've typically been releasing my videos around like Friday at noon. And I feel like if I were trying to do this, let's say live stream before a video, I would have to pick a time when more people are able to see it. Because I mean, I get that a lot of like younger audiences watch YouTube, but people are in school, people are working at like Friday at noon. So like theoretically, how many people on YouTube would even be able to be there for the live stream?
People in different time zones.
That's true.
Europeans.
That's true.
Would you ever be able to, like, if you took a little bit of time right now and kind of got a couple of videos built up under your belt, and then started releasing them more that way, like or could you do them in bulk? Because I know that's what Step Back does, right? You shoot them in bulk. Do you think that's a thing you could do? Then one, you'll be a little bit further from your video, and two, you can have a regular release date.
Yeah, batching helps quite a bit if you can do it.
Yeah, I actually have. Oh geez, what is it like? 1, 2. I have like, not counting the video that I'm gonna put up this week, I have 2 other scripts essentially done. Most of the time though, I won't record them back to back just because I'll be really tired after filming just one. But no, I mean, that's a good idea because what do I have? Do I have any other? Oh, I've actually had a video that I filmed and just needed to edit sitting in my in Final Cut Pro. And then, I don't know, I have like 4 ideas that are done or like close to being done and only need to be filmed. And I guess I could just do a bunch of them at the same time, but.
Yeah, I mean, space out what you need to, but like, I do find that there's a large productivity advantage of like, I do my videos basically on a month cycle now. And so I like research 5 video topics, write 5 video scripts. And like, so like I'm entirely in research mode, then I'm entirely in writing mode. And then I go to the YouTube space and I record for 8 hours. And that involves like, shooting and then going and changing my shirt and then drinking a lot of caffeine and getting through the day. And then coming back and once it's in the can, then probably your favorite part of the month would be just editing 5 videos nonstop.
Oh yeah.
And for that too, it helps a little bit because then like everything's set up. Like if you're setting up lights and camera, that's set up and you can keep going. You don't have to redo it. And then when you're in editing mode, you remember like the shortcuts and like all that, and your brain's not, if you're weeks or months or whatever between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I'm editing too, I'm bad for some of this stuff. Like I batch to some crazy degrees where like I will literally do when I'm editing, like I'm just gonna go and razor blade all the videos first. And
what do you mean by that?
Like just like the cutting, like the rough cut.
Oh yeah.
Before that, I'll actually like just do all the drawings. So I'll just be like an illustrator for 2 days, just drawing everything.
Yeah.
Then I only do like the overlays and the stuff like that near the end.
Yeah. So you were talking about when I was talking about the music choices I made with my video, and you said something like that's something that like teams of people would spend as much time as I do on. That's one of the most fun parts of editing for me, actually, which is why I do it.
Well, then, if it's something you really like doing, I won't take it away.
Yeah.
But
I understand
but acknowledge
the limitations it puts on me. So I obviously I get where you're coming from, but I guess it just made sense to explain that from my end.
I will probably say the happiest thing that ever happened to my YouTube career was when 12 Tone made me a theme song, and I can just now use it for every single video and not have to worry about it ever again.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I actually have been sort of I actually have zeroed in on like music tracks that I want to use, because also if you notice, I didn't really use music before this past month either, right? And so I have sort of zeroed in on 1 music track or 2 when I need a second one because of the length that I want to use. The only reason this video is different is because I'm making like this is just me exploring my interest, right? Like this video I'm putting out is pretty different from the stuff I've done. Like it doesn't even have my face in it.
Well, I mean, this is the point. Since your channel is it's still it's still in a really small stage, and just like mine is. And this is a time for you to experiment with format and things to see what kind of things you like doing.
Yeah.
So if you want to try new things, this is the time when you can do it, because once you become more established, once you know there's real money on the line for every release, that is when it's harder to break format. And so that's good. Experimenting is good.
So how do we actually, the three of us, get started on the conversation of having a hangout before a video or after? What about my channel or YouTube or whatever led us to that topic? I'm just trying to remember that.
I asked what would get you more likely to want to get out videos, and I said subscriber engagement
with
and
people.
then
Yeah, that's right. All right, that's how we got there. I couldn't remember that.
Long journey.
Yeah.
But it's getting to be like
time.
an hour. Do you have any other like issues? Did we help you at all?
Yeah, no, I think I really like the Hangout video. I think I also might check out like what Tristan, what were the sites you said you searched? Was it TubeBuddy that you used to sort of search tags and stuff?
TubeBuddy for YouTube tags, but if I'm looking for things that are like searchable and trends, I also use the keyword planner. There's another one called, I think it's called Uber Suggest, which is another really good one. And then there's also Google Trends. And another one that's really useful if you want to just keep abreast of certain developments in certain areas, you can make a Google News alert for different things. So you can make like a psychology Google News alert. And you'll get an email every day with like breaking news studies, like breaking news in like psychology or something. And that's another one that would be good for helping you get on top of like what people are going to start searching for. But yeah, if you have a general idea of what you want to go with, you can probably find a good search tag to kind of start with. But so it's not like you're like, you know, you're not like, oh, I can't do this idea because I can't find a good search thing for it. It's more like, what is the hook that I can make out of this subject I want to cover?
You know what I just sort of thought of as an idea? So you were talking about news with like psychology, right? And oftentimes people are, well, oftentimes science reporting isn't done super well, and it can like present misleading information or whatever. And I just thought like, oh, what if I look at new things that come out, and then I sort of present how the media outlet presented them, and then I explain how the scientists presented them, and we'll see how much they overlap or the degree to which. But that was just something small. I just thought.
No, that's something if you can throw something like that together really fast, then that is something that you could capitalize on a trend really fast and talk about it. And it's something that it could be like a series on your channel that could do really well. And I think that given the kinds of things that your content already does, it fits.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Well, I feel like, I don't know. There's the whole idea of what do you want to do as a creative? What do you want to do as a person who wants to make things more seen? So yeah.
Well, do you know that basically literally every YouTuber is making the exact same struggle? So you're not alone, at least.
Yeah.
Where you fall in that spectrum is just the question.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's funny. Oh, Socratic
and of course,
if you want to,
if you want to fight out anything, you know that my, I don't know, DMs are always open or whatever.
I'll slide in.
Because I got so many more things that I was like, oh, we should talk about this. But time is a precious resource we have very little of.
I know, yeah. It went by so quickly.
I mean, I'm okay with going a little bit longer if you guys want, and if the chat's okay with it or whatever.
It's very much bedtime, though, for me.
Okay. That's what I thought.
I would love to go more, but I have to take care of some stuff before tonight. So
okay.
That's what
and my throat is also bothering me, but I thought I would
it's decided.
Let you go in case. But I hope this helped you some, and we can definitely talk more in the Slack about any issues that you have.
Yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna maybe I might send you something tomorrow morning or later tonight, but I want to digest it all, right, and see what I think about it come the next day or whatever. I appreciate you taking the time to look at my channel and offer your insights and perspectives.
Sometimes it just takes getting the view of a person who's not you to get some insight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting? So, and this will be the last thing, then we can all head out, right? Do I have it here or is it upstairs? So, no, okay. The book I was reading called Originals by Adam Grant, it talks about like creative forecasting, which is essentially predicting how well your creative thing will do in the market, right? Whether that market is like a literal economic and financial one or a one where watch time is the currency or subscribers, whatever. And so like he sort of and he approached this question empirically, and he found that the creators of the content aren't like awful, but they're not good at creative forecasting. And random people are not really that great either because it's like one audience member, right? But what this sort of empirical analysis found is that the people who are most effective at creative forecasting are other creators. So like your peers are the ones who are, based on this one empirical analysis, the people who are most likely able to say this is a good one, or maybe like So I just think I think that's also really interesting, and that
was creative forecasting. You said,
yeah, it's called creative forecasting. I mean, like obviously that's the jargon term, right? It's basically just predicting how well your creative pursuit will do. But so that's also why I think things like polls for thumbnails and titles or whatever in the Slack are also a really good idea, because that's getting like other creators' opinions. Yeah.
Yep.
There's also a hashtag brainstorming channel if you want to throw things in there too.
Yeah, true. I'm not sure if I have that one like bookmarked on my Slack or not, because obviously we don't have all the channels on ours.
Well, I do, but
well, yeah, I'm sure you do, but I don't.
But that's probably rare.
Yeah, I have probably like 2/3 of them, but yeah, I just checked. I don't have brainstorming. I'll have to add it.
I think it's brainstorming ideas, isn't it?
I don't have Slack open because it would make my computer go too loud.
But yeah, all right, I guess on that note, though, we can call it a night.
Yep. Well, thank you guys, and thanks, chat. And we will see you later in the month.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Peace.